Hi guys! The artist who has the honor of opening the second season of the Electronic Corner comes from Switzerland, a country which we are going to visit for the first time in the history of the show. Matthias, who records music under the artist name 59 Perlen, is a man with a lot of experience when it comes to electronic music, and not only as a musician. Let's find out together what I mean. Hello, Matthias. Thanks for accepting my invitation. Greetings from Italy. How are you today?
Hi, Sergio. Thanks for the very nice invitation at the end of the year, or maybe at the beginning of the year. I'm great. Thank you very much. I had some nice Christmas days, and I'm pretty relaxed because I have some holidays. And musician's life is always busy, but I'm fine. Thanks. I hope you too.
Oh, yes. I mean, end of the year here as well. So things are a bit more relaxed than usual. Thanks. And so, yeah, I can say everything is fine. Thank you. Now, let's start because, as I said in the presentation, you're a man of experience, when it comes to electronic music, and not only as a musician. In fact, you're a music artist, you're a performer, and a mentor as well. So my question is, if for whatever reason you were forced to stick with only one of these activities, what would it be and why?
Oh, that is a very complicated question. Actually, I think without further thinking, I would always go for the musician part simply because that is how everything started. So this education part came a little bit late or came in the late years or just in like 4 years ago, I started doing that. Um, the performance part is kind of the same than the musician part. If you ask me that, I think I would go for the audio musician producer part, simply because I do that since 20 years. I can't remember when I started. So that's my route, and I think this would be what I would choose. Yeah.
So the creative part, making songs, releasing new material. We can say that, right?
Yeah, yeah, sure. Releasing material or creating creating music, whatever
Mhm,
you do
mhm.
with that, if you release it or you you play it somewhere, it's the creation process itself is why while educating people with your experiences seems to be more like a repetition of what I learned in the past, and I want to transfer it or share it with others. That's something different, but the creative process is always something that will fascinate me, I guess.
Of course. Now, sonic storytelling seems to be a must in your idea of making music. So I was wondering, what factors are most influential when you tell a story through music? Is it like the sound choice, or when a certain sound is introduced, the general mood? So which elements are more important for you in order to be able to tell a story through your music?
Mm. It's like I'm in this constant process of asking myself, do I tell a story? Because I don't sing, I have mostly no vocals in my songs or tracks. So the feeling or the mood is always transported by the choice of instruments or the choice of sounds, actually. I I try to make my own sounds by recording field recordings. I used nature sounds or sounds are recorded in my surrounding environment. Sometimes I use voices from friends and stuff, but I think this is not the real major part. I think the major part that people recognize as storytelling is more like the history. I realized that my signature sound seems to be something made in the past. I had a concert in Copenhagen some weeks ago, and after my gig, people told me that the way that they have been touched by the music was fascinating them, and they told me it's really like you don't tell a story in the usual way of once upon a time and blah blah blah. It's more like you're touching people's mood or touching people's heart with some elements of a track. And I define storytelling by this definition. It's not like a real story, but I try to transport feelings or moods by and texture design is a big part of my it's a big part of my design process is texture. There's always something crackling or there's always something noisy in the background. um, I try to let everything move in the track, so there is always something evolving. um, and it's like a perfume. When you spray it, it has like an initial impact on your nose and your senses, and over time it is changing into something different. And
Mhm.
I always try to see my music like that in a way, and it seems to work in a way.
Yeah. So your tracks are always kind of evolving, you know? You don't have a theme that starts from the beginning to an end. Can we say that?
Yes, that's correct. Evolving is pretty important, and that's what I try to teach people as well. Um, to to make something that stays interesting, even it's a longer track. I think that's pretty important when you're in specific genres like I am. So I'm not in the EDM genre or whatever. So you have to make your music in a way interesting. And I think that's a big part. Yeah. Evolvement, it's a big part.
Now, quite a peculiar question. I mean, as a gay man, I was obviously fascinated by the cover of your latest single, Horizon, and even more by the canvas of the two versions of the song on Spotify, whose theme is clearly gay romance. And canvas, for people who don't know, are like usually 5 seconds videos, which is looping continuously while the song is played on Spotify. So, can you enlighten us on the connection between the theme of the song and the cover and the canvas? And how did you make the accompanying video?
Um, Really, honestly, the reason why there are two guys getting intimate in a way is that I just typed in a prompt. So my current release phase, it's leading to an album, and there were 3 singles, and all the artworks of this this project. I decided to do that with artificial intelligence. So all the images, all the artworks are created myself using Midjourney, for instance, or other tools. And I just tried something out. And while the previous videos of the previous singles have been recorded with a camera and not using AI, and the other video of the worst thing to live without was created with a screensaver, to be honest. I wanted to have something with people because the artworks of all the singles and the album are showing faces, and that's what I wanted to achieve in this Horizon artwork as well. The reason why there are two people or two guys getting intimate is because I thought the mood of Horizon is this song is like a stream. It feels to me like a stream of feelings. There's no real melody, there's no real anything. It's just a very fluid stream of sounds and textures. And I wanted to, I thought this could be a nice connection um, to just getting intimate. I tried the same prompt with girls and black guys and white guys and gays and whatever. And the reason why I have chosen gays is just because I'm gay as well. And I just liked the way this program was composing the elements. Um, but there was no real reason to do that because I don't scream out to the world that I'm gay. If we talk about that, I'm totally fine with that. But it's nothing that I really put in the focus of my art. Um, that was more like, I don't want to say coincidence, but yeah, actually it was a little coincidence, and I liked it
Yeah.
because I'm obviously of the same idea.
Yeah, yeah, I understand. And what was the reaction from your fans?
Honestly, I also thought when I developed this artwork and also the video, um, that people were commenting in a way, and were surprised or whatever, but nothing happened. Actually, you were the first one telling me, I was touched by this artwork and canvas and Spotify. I was surprised that nobody else was reacting on this. It seems like maybe it's normal in my fan base, so nobody was reacting on that.
That would be
But you
great.
also that is actually it's nice. And it's like when I do something for social media, I never expect anything from anybody. So I wasn't disappointed at all. I was just surprised nobody said. But I got a pretty nice comments on the artwork itself, because I thought it went really nice. The outcome was nice. And you asked me which tool I was using for the video that
Yes,
I
yes,
created for
exactly. You
that.
said you were using artificial intelligence, but as you know, there are lots of
Mhm.
platforms or software now that can generate that kind of image. So
Yeah,
just for how to say, in case somebody is also inspired, and said, "Oh, this is cool," I want to try it. It would be a good
yeah.
information for them.
It's an app. It's an app called Kyber. I think Kyber is a software that some bigger music acts used it last year to generate videos. And you can create canvas size and landscape size videos. Sometimes it works good, sometimes it works not so good. It's a little bit like a wheel of fortune, if you ask me. But in this case, it worked pretty well, also for the different formats and stuff.
Since we were talking about love and romance, I would like you to tell us something about 59 lovers or 59 lovers, maybe. I don't know if I should say it in English or in German. What is it?
Um, it is a mailing list, at its core. Um, some years ago, I was locked out from Facebook and Instagram because my account was compromised. And I've put a lot of money and time and effort into that, but I never got back my account on Facebook. That was the moment when I decided to focus more on my website and also to direct connections to fans. And this mailing list is something where you can sign up, and I will send the people that are on this list MP3 files of weekly jams. So I usually publish one jam per week on my YouTube channel, and people get these MP3 files or two of them. I send them as a goodie, and I try to keep in touch with fans directly using this mailing list. That is the story behind that. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, and it's a good idea because it's the only way to really keep that direct connection, as you said, because all these social platforms may disappear one day, or even now with blogging, with the way the search is
Mm.
changing on Google, people don't go anymore to visit a website. They get the answer immediately straight in the same screen when they ask the question. And so that means all SEO, all blogging, all this kind of stuff is going to disappear sooner or later. So having a mailing
Yeah.
list really helps to be protected against all this kind of hurricane, let's say, that is
Yeah.
going on now in the internet world. So very good. Now, my next question is, as a DJ, because of course you're also a DJ, what does a song need to have in order to catch your attention and be included in your DJ set? Is it like mostly like the groove, the atmosphere, the production? So what catches your attention usually most?
I have to tell you that I don't DJ. I
Oh,
never did, and I don't want. It's something that I follow. So because I need to know what requirements DJs have um to play my music, which is actually not made for big clubs, but you have to match some requirements, and that is why I still follow the DJ word and what how that is evolving. But I have no sets, so if my sets that I play are only my own material, so it's like my tracks that I perform live, but I don't
okay.
DJ.
That's why I was confused because definitely I saw something which looked like a DJ set, in on your website, and I didn't realize it was all all your material. So
No
that makes
worries.
sense
A
now,
lot of
of
people,
course.
if
Okay, cool.
some locations in my country and in my town here, they ask me about the tracks that I put on my DJ set. Even they don't know what's going on. Even they should know the difference, but they they don't know. So I don't care. They say I'm a DJ.
But
It's
they
okay.
don't. Okay. Yeah, well, definitely you look like one. As I said, you tricked me, so you could definitely pass for a
Yeah, yeah.
DJ. Okay.
No worries.
Now, this one, I hope I get it right. What are the biggest challenges of a DOLES live setup? Because you tutor also on that. You teach people how to have a live
Mm,
setup without, using a computer, a digital audio workstation.
mhm.
What's the biggest challenge that you found when you started doing this?
Um, well, the biggest challenge is, in my opinion, to the pattern-based um, arrangements. That is, a lot of people struggle with that because it feels like, for many people, it feels like you're stuck in this Ableton clip and this Ableton loop, and they feel that one pattern is it or there's a danger that the track is getting boring very soon, and that is why I always try that we talked about earlier to get elements evolving, changing all the time, and exploring some new textures or something. I think that's a big challenge with DAW setups. When you want to play them live, you have of course the issue that there is no mastering behind. So you can route everything through a computer, but then it's not DAWless anymore. If you want to stay DAWless, and then you have to make sure that the sound design is clever enough to compensate the missing mastering chain at the end. You can put some effect pedals at the end, of course. There are some mastering chain simulating guitar pedals, or there are boxes from Electron that can a little bit compress. But still, I think that's a big challenge for being DAWless. Yeah.
Actually, even though we were talking about DOLES setup, you are not an enemy, let's say, of digital production. And in fact, you are coaching for Ableton Live. So I was wondering, what do you like about this particular digital audio workstation when you compare it like to Logic, FL Studio, or others? Why did you choose this one?
Um, Actually, I've chosen Ableton because the main reason for me to jump from digital production to live performing. So my goal is usually to play my tracks for audiences in a live situation, and not so much the producing part. Um, for that, Ableton is great because you can produce your tracks in a way that you can also perform them very easily using the clip mode, and you can use MIDI controllers to get everything running. And that is why I have chosen Ableton. I used some other DAWs before, like Reason. I never got warm with Reason, to be honest. I was a user from version number one ages ago. I tried from Novation. What is this called? Machine. A Machine comes with a native DAW as well. I couldn't handle it, so I landed at with Ableton, and I'm pretty happy with Ableton. So it's very performative. It doesn't need so much resources from my Mac. It's reliable in a live situation because it was built for that. So the main reason is that I like to perform my music live, even it's not DAWless. I like to perform it with a controller or something, and Ableton is good for that.
Yeah, indeed. Now, since we were talking about coaching, what kind of musician or producer could be interested in your coaching sessions?
I have a very specific target group, to be honest. Um, these people, there is everything is for free on YouTube. If you research a little bit, you will get answers for all of your questions on YouTube. But it takes
Yes.
time. And the people coming to me, they usually have a family, or they have just not no time to research. And they come and they are looking for a specific coach that takes away the research part, because they have no time to do that. And these people are my age, so not 20-year-old. They I can't remember I had somebody who was in that age. So most people are 40 to 50, 60 in this age. Um, they want to get specific information very quickly without researching, and those people come to me. And there are some very experienced musicians who like mm, my music, or they want to learn how to do music with my style or in the way I do it. This is one part, or one section of the customers. Some people just like me in person. I think this coaching is very something personal. So I always have like a free introduction call so people can get to know me, because I think it's very important that there is a good connection between me and the students. So I think this could be a big part as well.
I see. Yeah, makes sense. Now, I don't have a specific question about your gear because I know you're going to show us your toys, let's say, very soon. But as a sort of introduction to it, now I challenge you to get rid of all the stuff that you have in your studio except one. So, what will you take? Would you take? I keep, I mean, and why?
Ooh, that is a good question. Honestly, it sounds a little counterproductive, but I think I will go for my Mac, because I, you know the nature of all of this gear that you see here. I have a favor for electron boxes, and I will explain it later. They need power connections, and um, I think I would be more flexible with a MacBook, to be honest. Otherwise, I could also go for a Digitakt. So it's hard to decide. So Digitakt is always like my little baby that can do everything. Um, I go for Digitakt.
Okay. Good. Now, We have already reached the last question, the studio demonstration. I mean, since we started to be a bit more technical, I'm really looking forward now to see what you want to show us. I mean, as a coach, as a tutor, mentor, whatever you want to call it, I'm sure it will be impressive. So let's watch it now.
Okay, guys. So, this is my setup that I talked with Sergio before. And I will quickly go through the entire rig so you know what's going on. And then I'm going to explain a little bit how my workflow goes and how I work with this setup. Okay. So let's start from here. We talked about doorless music making. Right now, I'm working with a hybrid setup. I'm going to explain you why in a second. The center is my Mac and actually Ableton. You can see that here. Right now, you see my streaming software. Then we have an M Audio Air 19214 audio interface with 8 audio inputs and 4 audio outputs. Then I have at the core of everything the Electron analog rhythm and the Electron analog 4. Then I have a MIDI controller that's here. It's from Novation Launchpad Control XL. Then I have an Arturia Beatstep, which I actually rarely use, and a mixer that is here. The mixer is from Tascam Model 12, and I have the Somalara 8 analog synthesizer and the Vermona Performer, also analog synthesizer. So you see, I have a lot of analog stuff going on, and the routing is splitted in 2 parts. So I always try to have a setup that is portable. And because I travel a lot and I want to go to cities where I have never been before to play music and get creative with people. So my core setup has to be cabin friendly because I'm not going to check in my expensive instruments. So I always take these 2 guys with me, the analog rhythm and the analog 4. And I usually have the analog heat, which is right now not in my rig. And I have my MacBook and I have a little MIDI interface, MIDI audio interface. It was from M Audio, from Motu, the M4. And I have a lot of cables. And I decided to leave away the heat as an effect box and use my Mac instead. And I wanted to route these 2 guys with the help of Overbridge into my computer. But Overbridge produces a lot of crackles and noises, which is not cool for live performing. So I want to deliver the best quality that people want to hear, and Overbridge can't do that at the moment for me, right? That is why I added this M Audio interface, and the audio routing is as follow. So from the analog rhythm, I'm routing 2 tracks separated into 2 separate inputs of the M Audio, which is the kick and the bass, right? I have that here. This is the kick, and here's the bass sound. These 2 pads are routed, separated into the M Audio, and in Ableton, they are also on separated tracks. The benefit of this is I can use the kick for sidechaining and I can sidechain the bass sound as well. Why I don't use more outputs, Analog Rhythm has dedicated outputs for all 8 engines, is that there are not enough inputs on the audio interface. So I decided to use only two sounds and route it separated. So these are two tracks. I can show you that in Ableton. There you go. These are two of these tracks, and one track is the rest of the analog rhythm, including the effects. So I have three tracks for the analog rhythm, and the same goes for the analog 4. I only route track 1 and track 2 separated into the M audio interface, and that's reflected by two separated audio tracks in Ableton, and I have the rest of the analog 4, including the effects, routed into a third track. And the advantage is that I can put a lot of effect plugins in Ableton per scene for two of these tracks. But mostly I combine all of these, and then I can route this mix so that it's only using one channel, or I can use two of these tracks and sidechain them as well using the kick sound from the analog rhythm. And that's basically it. I have a system with a plugin in Ableton that allows me to switch effects on and off by scene, so I can use dedicated effects on each track, which is actually super cool. And I can control these with this MIDI controller. I also programmed this so with the start-stop button, so I can start the tracks and stop them with this one. And I can open and close filter using these knobs and stuff as well. So this is my mobile setup, which works well, but it's still a lot of stuff. The other synth are connected to my mixer, the Tascam mixer, but they stay here. I rarely use it for traveling because the Lyra is super heavy. It's almost 4 kilograms, and the Performer is bulky. It's pretty big for traveling, so I rarely take it somewhere. I rather record some sounds and use it on the analog rhythm. And they are connected to the mixer, and I can route the mixer with USB into my Mac into a separate track in Ableton, which I actually not do right now. This is my current routing, and yeah, I really like to play around with that. And the mix of Ableton and hardware is challenging because you're tempted to add software synth in Ableton. You have a lot of possibilities, but I want to try it separated. So I do everything I can with the machines, and only the effect parts is added using Ableton, and that works pretty well. So this is a little track I'm working right now. I did this in one of my live sessions on my YouTube channel. Sorry. If you want to follow me a little bit, you can check. It's from January. It's every Wednesday. I have a live production session, which is 1 hour, and you can ask me stuff if you want. It's on my YouTube at 59 Perlen. So this was done in one of the last sessions. And yeah, I was just trying out because this entire thing with this audio MIDI interface, it's pretty new. Talking about MIDI, the MIDI is also going through the M audio. It has a MIDI output and input, and that is routed to a MIDI merge. And from the MIDI merge, it's splitted to control these two guys. So that's a fairly simple setup. I could also have a daisy chain and only put the MIDI to one of the two electron boxes and then route the MIDI out from one and to the MIDI in. It's also possible. I right now do this way. Okay, I hope that was helpful, guys. Back to Sergio from 59 Perlen Studio.
Thanks a lot for that, Matthias. I mean, of course, you are a coach, so that's exactly what I was kind of expecting, to see and hear from you. Thank you very much for being our guest today. And guys from home, you're watching this, please, if you enjoyed the episode, like, comment, or subscribe if you have not done it yet, so the podcast can grow and I can invite more and more cool artists like 59 Perlen. So thanks a
Thank
lot
you very much
again.
for the invitation. And thanks. I wish you a lot of success with your podcast. I hope that's growing fast. And it was very nice to be your guest. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.